Charlie Kirk shuts a leftist girl's argument completely down after she tries to sit there and make excuses for criminals going out there and causing ruckus in society. Guys, this is gonna be a good video. I think you're gonna enjoy it. I don't know about you, but personally, I cannot stand this insane idea that because somebody's in a tough situation or facing challenges in life, they're allowed to just completely disregard their duty to be a decent civilian in society and do whatever the hell they want, essentially. I think it's disgusting. I have a feeling you guys agree. So we're gonna get right into the video, guys. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But first, everybody, please help me out and do a big favor here. Like our video, share it around, and if you're new, subscribe to the Resistant Mainstream YouTube channel so we can keep bringing you guys these great videos. As always, everybody, I'm your host, Darian. Let's get into the clip.
But don't you think that like there's a reason that a lot of the black community doesn't have a father, and it's because of systemic racism. It's because like black men are more likely to be in prison.
Oh yeah, so why do people go to prison?
For like a lot of the time it's because they're in poverty and they have no other way to get.
Okay, so they commit crimes.
Because
Yeah, but so wait, so wait.
Why do they
So wait, if you're
commit crimes?
So in poverty, we should give excuses for committing crime?
Yes, because if they have no
like murder?
I did not say murder. I'm saying like if someone is stealing something because they have no money and there's no jobs.
That's so interesting. So you think most crimes are crimes of necessity in the black community?
I'm not saying most.
So like gangbanging is like a crime of necessity?
That I literally never said that. I'm saying
But
like
you're making an argument of crimes of necessity. Like they're so hungry they can't handle it.
I'm talking about like crime that has to do with like getting food, getting stuff that you need to live.
Right, but we have food stamps for anyone that needs it. So that doesn't exist. We have subsidized housing for anyone that needs it, so that doesn't exist. We have free health care for any poor person that wants it, called Medicaid, that doesn't exist. We also have welfare, cash, for anyone that wants it, so that doesn't exist. So what is it they're missing that they need to go, sorry about that.
Well, the food, like a lot of food stamps might not cover all of what they need, and also housing is like, there's not unlimited housing. A lot of people who are unhoused have to like go to shelters, and then they get kicked out of shelters because there's a mandatory stay limit. So it's not like you just get a house.
It's not a stuff thing, though, right? It's like if you need stuff, there's also tons of charities out there that can provide assistance, churches. You will not go hungry in this country. You will not starve in this country.
Yes, you will. There's like,
I really can't stand this extremely, frankly, ghetto mentality of, well, you know, committing crimes is okay because they needed to do it. You know, they were hungry, they were poor, whatever. Right. Okay. So is it okay that they're going to make somebody else poorer and more hungry because they're facing those issues? Of course it's not, right? But we're not going to talk about that. No, let's just sympathize with the criminal scum who's making society worse instead of the innocent people they're victimizing. Really quite disgusting. You know, I would like to see this girl's reaction if one day she's walking around and her iPhone gets stolen from her or something out of her hands while she's walking around. Is she going to be sitting there saying, well, that person, they deserved it more than me, so it's okay?
You've been on State Street?
We have an obesity problem, not a starvation problem in this country.
What are you talking about?
In State Street, if any one of those people went to the local Episcopalian church or Methodist church, they will get fed. I guarantee it. If they go to a local food shelter, they will get fed.
Okay, but I'm talking, housing.
For housing. If we have Section 8 subsidized housing in this country, right? If you want to have a roof over your head, you can have a roof over your head.
With like thousands of rules, and you can't do anything.
Yes, of course, yes. I mean, it's not ideal, but the point is this. So let's just go back to the crime and necessity.
I love the entitlement with thousands of rules. Well, yeah, you're literally getting housing and shelter provided to you for free. You're not paying for it. Somebody else is paying for that. And then you're going to sit there and reel and discuss, well, oh, you have rules you got to follow. Okay, how about you go live on the street instead then? And by the way, we shouldn't tolerate that either. So that's not an endorsement of homelessness, to be clear.
Right? Mm-hmm. So why do people commit crimes?
I'm not saying why all people commit crimes. I'm saying there are people who commit crimes because they have no other choice.
Got it. So why is it that other people that are as poor as they are in separate racial groups don't commit crimes at the same rates? For example, blacks are 13% of the population and they commit over 50% of the crimes. Why is that?
Black people, I would say, not blacks.
Okay,
but
it's not. I could say whites and you wouldn't care.
So
anyway, hold on. right? I can say Hispanics, you wouldn't care. So don't
I think
police
I
my
might,
language.
but whatever. I'm not policing your language. I'm just saying I would say black
Fair
people.
enough, but the insinuation is that I'm being racist, but that's fine.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
your opinion.
Yeah, but so black Americans are 13% of the population and commit anywhere between 50 to 56% of murders, crimes, carjackings. Why is that?
Well, what percentage of the white population is living in the same level of poverty?
Got it. So there's twice as many white Americans in poverty as black Americans. Not the same percentage, but still, if you look at white Americans in poverty, they commit far less crimes than black Americans in poverty. Why is that?
Maybe it's because when you're in a store, like they follow black people and they don't follow white people.
What about
rural?
No, but why is it that, like, just saying murder, why is it that black people commit so many more murders?
live in rural
Like, that's not, you're being followed in a store and you commit more murders?
Yeah.
You're making the rule, or
No.
I'll get to you in a sec, but
Okay,
it's not,
anyway.
it's not a good argument. But let me just go back to one thing you said.
That kid is so annoying. I heard him yelling stuff earlier too. What he was just saying is that, well, if you're in a rural area, you're less likely to commit crime because of proximity. Dude, such a hunk of junk and garbage. Take a look at poor white people in the same areas as poor black people. The crime rate is still less. It's just total fake leftist talking point. Just couldn't let that slide, guys. I just couldn't.
Systemic
Whatever, you're
racism,
good.
right? So the idea of systemic is that it's
Yeah.
within our laws. There are some black Americans here listening. What can you as a white American do that the black American cannot do?
Let's see. I could go into a store and not get followed. The police.
I've been followed around in a store before, okay? And I'm white. So was that racism too?
Could not track me down on, like, when I'm driving. I'm less likely to get shot and killed while I'm driving. There's a lot of things that I can do.
Okay, so just be clear. So if you walk into a local CVS here, how would you guys be treated differently?
Well, they would probably say hello, and they would probably just walk, let me in and not follow me, and then.
So these are a lot of probablys. I don't believe you, but I'm talking about laws, right? So what in the legal code of America can you as a white individual do that the black individual can't? Because systemic means it's in our code, right? It's for example, like Jim Crow, totally get it. That's systemic racism. What is systemically your advantage?
Maybe housing codes, because I know redlining isn't a thing anymore, but there is isn't there people who are white are more likely to be given loans because of they have less I don't know, that's just it's back from redlining. It's a lot of the same stuff.
So I don't buy into any of that. So I just kind of go.
You don't buy into redlining, or you don't buy
into redlining. I don't buy any of that stuff that happens today. In fact, it's the opposite. Loans are now given favorably to black Americans in certain cities over white Americans.
Okay, but
so we could,
think
because
redlining.
I believe in. I know redlining existed. I don't debate that. Of course it has. But because of DEI and because of affirmative action, there's actually a preference given. But so let's go back to.
In the cases of both having equivalent economic factors, a black person often is going to get prioritized over a white person at this point because we have systemic racism against non-black people thanks to DEI. And the reason why, in general, on the aggregate, white people are more likely to get loans is because they, on average, have better credit. And of course, I'm sure any left-winger would argue that, well, white people having better credit is also a function of systemic racism. Because, there's never any personal accountability for anything. It's all white man's fault.
Fathers, right?
Okay, let's go back to fathers.
So something happened to black America since 1965. So in 1965,
You mean the war on drugs?
Right. Well, so if that's your contention, that's fine. So in order to go to jail for the war on drugs, you have to be dealing drugs, right? Or you have to be caught with drugs. So if you don't
which is one of the main jobs that you can have in a poverty-stricken. If there's no jobs, you're going to do drugs. I mean, you're going to trade drugs because that's the only option you have.
It's such a difference in worldview. You're making excuses for criminals.
Yeah.
And what an insult to poor immigrants that came to this country that didn't commit crimes and worked 2 or 3 jobs and worked themselves out of poverty and didn't decide to go deal coke.
Well, my father is a white immigrant from Poland, and he committed crimes.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
And he's fine now. So.
Did he go to jail?
Yeah, he did.
I thought there was systemic racism. I thought that doesn't happen very much.
I never said white people don't go to jail. I said they go more, and you're saying that white immigrants are fine and they don't.
No,
I'm
it's
saying
far
that they
less
do.
actually. I'm glad he went to jail if he committed a crime. I think it's terrible.
Yeah.
So,
well,
but at the core of it, we have a difference in worldview, right? My worldview is I'm not sympathetic to people that steal, that loot, and murder, because that's a values problem. And I don't like making excuses for people that do things that are obviously destructive. Secondly, we have a problem in Black America. The biggest problem is not racism, it's the lack of dads. If dads are around, kids flourish. And you know who agreed with me? Barack Obama. Barack Obama used to make this a central piece of his campaign. He came to this campus back in 2012, drew like a 100,000 person crowd, and talked about how we need to rebuild the black family and put dads back. Why doesn't the Democrat Party talk about that anymore?
I'm fine.
Based Barack Obama? Ha, just kidding, guys. Of course, there was a time when Obama sometimes said a decent thing once in a while, but sadly, I think we're far past those days. Oh well, it is what it is. With all that being said, guys, we really hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, everybody, help us out, all right? Comment below, let us know what you liked about the clip, what kind of content you want to see in the future, and we'll see you guys again soon.